Well, obviously the scoreboard says it all. Coming in, France is a very good football team. I think they didn't look as good as they could against Brazil, and they out-executed what we're doing, and the score reflects that.
France, in the first game, got out to that quick start. Happened again today. How tough is it to rebound when you look up at the scoreboard and all of a sudden it's 24-3 or 21-0?
I think we tried to fight quite hard. It was just like minor details, like a guy sliding to the wrong gap and things like that, that gave them the explosiveness they needed to score early. So I think as a team we can still fight no matter what the score is. I think you can see it late in the game we're still fighting pretty hard. Obviously their level was a bit higher today. So.
Coach, 248 rushing yards against today. Obviously there's a talent differential between what we saw against South Korea and what France provided today. Outside of that, was there anything in particular that you saw that prevented the rush defense to be effective today against France?
The 23 for France is a much better running back. The offensive line is much better than we faced before. And what I said to our guys after Korea is that, listen, we make an average team look bad. So France did the same to us. There's a different level of play, and when you have that, they make you look worse than maybe what you really are. But that's the reality of the game today.
Offensively, it seems like you guys never did, I guess, more than 1 or 2 first downs in a row. Were they doing anything in particular to stop the run? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, they didn't do anything particular. They just have a really good defensive line. As one of these guys I face in the GFL, is Mamadou Isai. He's a beast in the GFL. I know this, and but they have a whole stable of good defensive linemen. That was the big problem. Our offensive line had a big trouble today. It wasn't running the ball or passing. That's the big guys in they're overseen in the stat sheet, but that's what makes your offense or defense run is having good defensive linemen and good offensive linemen.
For you, what needs to happen on Wednesday for the team to look more like it did on Thursday than it did today?
I think we just need to continue what we're doing with our training sessions, turning up, playing hard. We turned up to play today. We couldn't execute our plays as well as we thought we would. I think all of our line was well placed moving forward on the ball, but we just couldn't get passes off. It was a bit slippery conditions as well. We just need to just continue turning up like we have been all week or the last 2 weeks. Just continue knuckling down. We'll get those points again.
Grant, obviously you just mentioned before slippery conditions played a part. How much did that play a part though, knowing that there were a lot of fumbles in this game and the passing game progressively got worse for both sides?
Well, as the game went on, the ball got heavier. That was one thing. Then the passes get heavier. We're just putting a lot more effort into it to try and get those meters. The ball's coming faster, so we have to shape up as a receiver core just to really get those passes knocked in when the ball's wet. Do some condition training, get those hands working.
Coach, offensive line for them, how solid were they? I mean, they had a rush for 100 yards in the first half and another one did it in the second half. How strong was that offensive line, and what needs to happen to adjust?
To be honest, I looked at France's defensive line. I thought they were strong. I thought we'd do a better job with the offensive line, but I don't know if it's before you watch the film, if the run fits were not quite right, or that kind of stuff. But I think they also came to play. That's for sure. I think if I would have to say without looking at the film first, I would say that we didn't have our run fits as good as we needed it to be. And then it's early on in the game. Let's face it too. Tackling wasn't very good. So, and a couple of these runs were long runs too, right? So, And that's never a good thing, because now our defensive line is not doing their job. Linebackers and backfield is not making any tackles. So overall, on defense we just didn't play good enough, and we made them have a great day on offense.
Damien, just going ahead into next game now, can you give us just a really brief insight on what the players will be feeling like and their confidence levels now coming off a loss like this, heading into a game now against Brazil, which has been talked about as a winnable game for you guys?
Yeah, it's always going to be tough for us to bounce after a loss like we suffered today, but I think the guys, they really want to play hard in the next game, so we get to play the game after that, 2 more wins, and make this a more like a winning tournament for us as opposed to a 50-50 would be definitely what we're aiming for.
So Coach, just touch on special teams a little bit. I know that for a little bit in the first half, is there any adjustments you need to make in that area?
Yeah, like we play the Brunswick Lions twice a year, and what's the name? Double A does that in the GFL. I see it all the time. And, he is a very good receiver and a returner. So yes, some of it you need to control, but on the other one you also need to respect that this is a very good returner. So credit goes to him as well for making plays, and yes, we need to make sure that we convert to the ball better, and he can bounce outside. So one of the other things is while I'm thinking about this is that even NFL games sometimes end in a score like this. In the very next game, the team comes back and puts the score on the next opponent. So I'm very confident that our guys will bounce back and want to do better than what they did today. So and it's a matter of watching the film, making some corrections, and make a good plan for Brazil. So but if it's a return game or we need to look at everything we do and see where we can do better and what we need to do to correct it.
Thanks.
Okay, all good. Good. Thank you.
So we have obviously Coach Lighton, Carlisle Jones, and Nate Lansdale. So Coach, if you could say a few words about the game and then we'll open to questions.
Yeah, we made it hard on ourselves, but I think credit goes also to Brazil. Maybe they started a little bit slow, but once they got into it, they stopped our offense, and turns out that we have to go 3 phases to win this. Very proud of our guys. Offense keep pushing. Didn't do too much, but then special teams and defense steps up and makes it a real good team win.
Carla, I'll start with you. Fantastic performance on the defensive line. How important was the work on both the lines for defensive and offensive early on in the game when you were dominating that patch, and how important that was for you to get the early lead?
Well, we got the momentum rolling. Obviously, getting the first score of offense and defense, we were going 3 and outs for pretty much for the full first quarter. It was good to get the momentum going, but yeah, that was really important for us to get the ball going for us in the first.
Coach, after the last game, you lost by 50 points. How important, number one, was the start, and how important was it for these guys to really get the momentum going and kind of forget about that last game?
Yeah. Well, as the Australian national team, we come to the World Cup and we kind of know, where our limits are, and we know how strong other teams are. France is a much stronger team. They have a much stronger competition than we have, and to get that out of the way, thinking, all right, we've done this, moving on, and our focus went to Brazil. Same thing is like they only play football there for 7 years, but when you look at these guys, they'll have a great future, right? They have a great future with so limited experience, and for us, it's critical that we keep building our program. And the early lead is good. And like CJ was saying, defense played great in the first quarter. It really just shut them down. And I think later on, to the credit of Brazil, and we took a few hits on the defense with some injuries as well. We rotated some guys through as well, but it's important for us as a nation to also learn how to play 48 minutes and finish a game. And the first game was over in half. The second game was also over in half, but in a negative way. And now this game, we have to keep playing 48 minutes, and that gives confidence too that you can close out a game.
For you, play South Korea before you're gonna have them again. What needs to happen in the next game to have a similar outcome? And how dangerous is that wounded animal, quote unquote, when you play them for a second time?
We know what we have to do to beat them. Obviously, doing that the first time. We just got to watch more film, study, see what they've done different from the first game they've had. I think they've played 2 games now. So they've probably pulled out a few more different packages and whatnot. And we know that we're good enough to beat them. Our best football that we've produced this tournament has been really good defensively. And as long as we shut them down offensively with our defense, I'm confident that we'll get away.
Coach, talk about that. How good was the defense today? Ben, don't break. I mean, he gave up the late touchdown. But other than that, every time they seem to mount something other than that one touchdown, you were able to find something to stop it.
Yeah. Well, I think the philosophy is a little bit like that. Bend and not break. I was very confident that our defense could come up with a stop when we needed it the most, and that comes also with the idea that I don't think they're so finely tuned on offense that they can come up and make long drives. So we came up with 2 picks already. I think 2 picks and some critical stops. We had pressure at times where we needed. We made some few critical errors too. Like we had one on a 3rd down, I believe, was one of our guys was kind of injured coming into the game, and he lost his man-in-man coverage. They made a good 1st down out of that one. So I think looking at Korea, they've had time off where we had our 3rd game. They'll come up with something different. They're focused to actually then come out and win their 1st game in the tournament, where we want to win our 3rd game. But I'm confident that our guys will keep their focus and also have a 2nd game against Korea that will come up with a win.
Nate, in terms of the offense, what happened after quarter time? Did Brazil give you anything that was different from what you saw in the first, or was it just in terms of execution? What slowed down the offense for the last 3 quarters?
Brazil just lifted. I think they knew they must, had a talk, and they played with a lot of heart. Going off track a little bit, as they were walking around, I could see it in their eyes, and I was part of the Austrian team, the Austria 2011 team, and after the game was exactly the same, a lot of guys with tears in their eyes, played their hearts out, and just fell short, and that's a big thing for them. I could just tell, just heart, spirit, they just lifted. They did bring a lot more pressure. They come down a lot harder. Defensively, they were playing us quite lightly to start with, and we got a roll on. And then they just started shooting gaps, bringing down hard pressure, and we just couldn't execute from there. That pressure was coming in. They got a sack, had us going backwards, and that always makes it hard. They bring so many guys and can't execute. There's holes to be hit, but we couldn't make it, and that's basically it.
I have one last question. It's kind of off the track. Let's talk about your right tackle, Jason. He's been around here since 1999. What has he meant to the team, and how much has he kind of brought this group together?
I think Jason he had a little bit of a break in between somewhere with football, but there's a lot of passion for the game, obviously. Like your first time in '99, and this is his 2nd. He skipped the one in 2011, but I think he's part of a football team that all our guys are very passionate about the game. They call it down under for a reason, right? We're far away, and we don't play games, as much as other parts of the world. And our guys are very spirited, and as everybody knows, we pay a lot of money to come here, and that says something about how badly they want it, and how badly we're starving for it too. That hardly anybody wants to come and play us, So we have to always go somewhere to play. And that's something that we've got to find a way in the future that changes. So we have guys that with the passion, but like Jason, we don't have to travel the world to play. That's one of the things that that we have to have a look at again, because we thought we wanted to change in 2011, but teams want to come. They say they're coming to Australia, but they end up not coming. So the passion that we have for the game is there. It makes it hard. I feel really bad for our guys too in that way. Is that there's a lot of credit card debt, savings, family holidays, whatever it is, they have to give up to play this game. And like I said, you show a guy who's been doing it for so long with great passion, and you tip the hat for all of our guys for doing all this.
Thank you, Coach John Layton from Australia, obviously, and Brandon Strickland, wide receiver number 11, and then quarterback Jared Stegman, number 3, who, if you're aware, Jared, you equalled the record today for the number of touchdown passes in the tournament with 6. As you, Michael Folds of Canada, and Joachim Ulrich of Germany both last year. So, say a few words, John, and then we'll take it from there.
Same opponent, same result. It was a good win because of the numbers on the scoreboard. It was an ugly win when you look at all the mistakes that we made, and not only us but also Korea. Part of that, without making excuses, is that in a format like this you lose players along the way. Offensive line, we're getting very thin, linebacker, we're getting very thin, but we try to rotate some guys through as well so they get some playing time. All is well, it ends well. The record is 3-1, best result we ever had in the World Cup for Australia. So we're very happy.
Coach has talked about all week about the passion you guys have for the game and how that translates into the field. We really saw that today. I mean, this was a fifth place game. A lot of times teams will play not to get hurt, just get back on the plane, get home. You can tell, I mean, you guys were playing whistle to whistle. What did you guys really want this game, and why did you really want this?
We just really wanted it because that's how we are as Australians. Like we're never gonna give up or anything. We want to fight to the end, the final whistle, the echo of the whistle every play. So there's never really a question of lying down or anything like that for us. We just wanted to come out, get the energy from the start of the game, which we didn't have in those early games. Kind of learn from our mistakes, and then came out in that last game. We just wanted to put it away and finish on a good note, play the way we knew we could play. I think the note where we finished on was quite high.
And Coach, for you, backing up that question, you really saw that on your second and your third touchdown. Foley's basically almost down 10 yards behind the line, or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Somehow gets out of 2 tackles, spins, and falls into the end zone for the 1 touchdown. And then it was Donaldson's interception, and he told me, he was an option quarterback. So he kind of said he saw out of the corner of his eye, and he tossed to get that extra yard and turned out to be a touchdown. How much did those 2 plays really typify the mindset you guys have when you go into a game?
We didn't talk about that we wanted to do that the flip right this time around, but that's something we wanted to do if we play teams like Mexico or France or those kind of opposition, where we want to make the most of every opportunity that we have the ball, to get on the scoreboard. But it's also fun, as a coach you stand there and you think, okay, well, it went well, so all is well. So, but our guys, Australian culture is we don't quit. We like to play the game, and it's any game. You play any sport, you'll see our guys. They'll have fun playing sports. And you ask any Australian kid, he plays 4, 5, 6 sports year round. So having fun is important to me. I tell the guys that winning is fun, but you have to have fun while you get there, while you run and lift and get ready for this game. And there is no quit in what we do.
Coach, it was a real flip in terms of how you guys went about winning this game, because in the first game you rushed for 247 yards. Today you rushed for 50, and then it flipped around in passing yards as well, because you had 225 through the air. Was it a result of the run game getting shut down that you went to the pass, or was it that the pass was being effective that you kind of abandoned the rush?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of both, but definitely that, Korea came to stop the run, and then you got to find ways to move the ball. And, we know Jared can throw the ball, and he's effective. So you give, or you take what they give you, and then you get this result, yeah. No, it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get there.
Strickland. In terms of what was happening in this game, it was 27-14 towards the end of the third quarter, and then that final quarter, you guys were kind of edging your way towards victory. What sort of changed in that final quarter that kind of got you guys over the line and sealed the deal? Because it looked as if Korea was starting to charge down the field. What was the feeling for the players, and how did they correct that?
Yeah, so there was a little bit of a nervous moment there. Korea would start charging, and we were having some troubles stopping them on the defensive side. I think the energy started coming from the sideline. Had a few team leaders on the sideline just really picking up the energy on the sideline. Everyone's cheering. And just some big plays from individuals just really changed the momentum. Obviously we saw some interceptions around that time, some big runs as well. So pretty much one big individual effort can really turn the momentum of a team, and I think that's what we saw today.
And a follow-up for Jared on that one there. What was going through your head when you were leading that drive? Because, yeah, like I said, if that drive had kind of fallen apart and Korea had kind of got back into that, it could have been a lot closer. What was going through your mind as you led that drive to eventually seal the deal?
Just in previous games, I haven't remained focused. I haven't been focusing on that drive. And today, that was my goal, was just to take every play as it came and just do my job on that one play. And then on that drive, that's what I was telling myself before I got out on the field, was just do your job, go through your reads, check the safeties, do all that kind of stuff, and then I didn't have to think about anything else. And that's what we did, and we made some plays.
For sure. 99, you win one game, and hadn't won one since then. Coming here, you win 3 or 4. What do you take out of this, and how much can you build from this week?
Yeah, well, this is my first World Cup campaign, first time playing with Outback. So for myself, it's just a massive learning experience. I've never been on the sort of national scene like this, so I've got a lot to take back to Australia, our club team, our state team, just to build on that. And then while we're back home over the next 4 years, we do some tours with the Outback and just progress to the next World Cup. And so we come here next time more fundamentally sound, and just really gel as a team from day one. And then we can make some big plays on some bigger teams. That's definitely the goal for us.
So you talked about maybe passing backwards to get a couple extra yard, extra angle. That's something that doesn't necessarily cross the mind of an American player. Is that easier for Australian players who maybe have rugby backgrounds, like that sort of?
Well, not just rugby. Yes, there's 2 forms of rugby: rugby league, rugby union, and then there's AFL. In AFL, they also handle the ball all the time. So when you play teams that you have no chance of beating, then something like this can make a big change, and or try and get on the scoreboard. So that's why we put that in. Like I said, not necessarily against Korea, but it was fun to see afterwards.
Finally, have you had any words to Damien Malloy, or what was your reaction when he completely jumped over that in that 2-point conversion?
No, I haven't talked to him. I have a guy like that in Germany as well, and they do what they do, and they got to be a little bit smarter with their bodies too. So.
Is he okay?
I think he's okay. Okay. Good. Thank you.